Here, it is exactly 6, so let me turn this on. Okay, we're all set? Okay, so it is exactly 6 o'clock on February 6th, 2019. I'm going to call to order this special meeting, budget workshop of the Willington Board of Education. We like to start our meetings with time for the people in the audience to provide input. We'll also have time at the end of the agenda. If you'd like to speak, please do so. And give us your name and address before you start, so that our recording secretary can get your name right. Is there anyone in the audience? Okay, if you feel so moved, there'll be another opportunity at the end of the agenda, and we welcome your participation and comments at that time. Okay, so we have as our next item to look at all of the programs for the spending plan. We, if you remember from the last meeting, have covered all of the different program sections. And there have been a number of questions and requests for information, which Mr. Stevens sent along, so take it away.
So just so we can answer all the questions that were kind of put out there, Ken, do you want to talk about, I gave you a copy
I haven't had a chance to read it all.
That's okay, I just gave you a copy. This is the way Ken Craig rolls, is he goes above and beyond, and so I asked him for a snapshot of what, good evening, of what just to write up what the school-wide enrichment specialist and the library meeting specialist positions, their tasks, what their day looks like, the things they're doing. And so he pulled this together for you, but also put in some responses about some other pieces that are in there that are connected to it, and just the drive, the direction for the school. So I think you could probably read the top section later, but if you wanted to just peruse, I think you have a clear understanding of what those positions look like, and Ken, I'm going to give you a chance. I have a copy for you, sir, if you'd like.
Oh, I was just pulling up on it.
Yeah, I knew you were going to be doing that, but if there's anything you want to particularly highlight about those positions, I thought it would be important for you to have a chance to look at what those folks were doing.
Yeah, just an overview highlight. If you look at the system-wide enrichment specialist, over the last 3 years, really transitioned that to enrichment, from enrichment for a small group of children to enrichment for the whole school. And really, that position is integral in our differentiation for students who need extensions. They operate the makerspace. Our philosophy of hands-on learning, 21st century learning, that philosophy is really embedded in this position, and this position is really responsible for providing those opportunities, not only in the makerspace, but she goes into classrooms and she helps teachers plan hands-on lessons as well. So, you know, I have a lot of bullets there that you can read, but really, I just wanted to give you a philosophical view of where that position fits in our direction as a school.
And I'm going to interrupt you for a second.
Yeah.
I think it's important to know that as we write curriculum, and all the curriculum that's, you know, K-8 shares that philosophy, that the hands-on, engaging activities are written into curriculum. And so the more that we have those conversations, the better.
I'm just noticing to provide coaching to all math teachers with a focus on differentiation. That's huge since we don't have a math consultant at that level. Is that true? Do we have one?
We were extremely fortunate in that Miss GC, who is in this position, is also a math specialist with experience over a number of years of writing math curriculum. And she served as a math specialist at Glastonbury. So we've used that expertise, and she goes in and she helps coach our math department. And she's been so important as we unroll our illustrative mathematics this year. She's been one of the main spearheads going into the classroom on a weekly basis to provide feedback and monitor where we are. So yeah, that's correct.
This gets into building capacity, using the expertise of your staff. Just because someone's in one position, if they have expertise someplace else, it's the many hats. We've talked about our staff wearing many hats. This is another hat she wears.
Yeah.
Does she cover all grades?
At the middle school, yes. At the middle school.
All over 5 to 8.
Yes, correct.
Any other questions about system-wide enrichment? We'll go to
Thank you, that's very helpful.
Yeah, we'll go to library media specialist. Now we're almost switching gears to our ELA program. which is a major focus over the last 2 years and is going to continue to be. Our library media specialist is so very important to that work as she connects our curriculum to our offerings in the library. The philosophy in the new program, the Reader's Writer's Workshop, is building a culture of reading, and that's through high-interest books. And you don't do that without having specialists, and you're building that know the books and know the kids and can match those two things together. If you don't have that, whatever system you have, it's not going to work. And our library media specialist is an expert at matching students up with high-interest books. So a loss of that position would really set us back in what's been 2 years of really hard work getting our reading and writing program on the right track. And we're definitely on the right track. So I want to just emphasize that this position is highly tied to our reading and writing curriculum. She's also a very integral part of our STEAM program. As you know, we have STEAM classes. This year, with the help of Ms. Richland, who's sitting right next to me, we've increased our offerings, and we offer a number of very engaging classes. Our library media specialist runs a number of those groups with her expertise with technology and literacy. She really expanded our offerings this year. So this position represents a tie to ELA and a tie to our philosophy that STEAM is where we want to go. Any questions on library?
Yes, I do have a question. From reading all this plan, not plans, the list of that positions, responsibilities, I could see that every day she has only covering lunch and recess duty. The rest of her duties, they're not every day. They are maybe monthly, maybe weekly, maybe yearly, like book fair.
Mm-hmm.
So is there anything else from this list which is every day?
Yes, STEAM classes meet every day, and so she does brain games. She does 2 sections of that. Katie, if I don't want to interrupt you over there, but if I mistakenly say something, and you know better,
Yeah.
she does 2 brain games a week.
Because
A
Katie's,
week?
she's the STEAM
She's
coordinator.
the STEAM coordinator.
She's the STEAM coordinator, if you
She-
didn't know that.
Currently does 3 sections of 7 to 8 brain games and 3 sections of 5, 6 brain games. That might have been from last semester in which she had other classes that took over a little bit more.
Yep. So that's 6 a week, just right there, of just that one STEAM class.
6 classes a week.
With 5th grade specialists, she also teaches this 5th grade library media class.
So she, every day, she teaches that STEAM class? Or it's not every day, or it's every other day? How often do they take time? They take
So
place?
if you're talking 6 classes a day, most likely it's 3 to 4 times a week that she's with those classes, but they're 2 back-to-back classes.
So it's like 3 days average. She has STEAM classes. And that position at the top you're talking about. How are you, Kathy? We're not talking about you, so you would not know. We just want to understand what that position involves.
Mhm.
That's our
Yep.
goal to understand. So 3 times a week, those STEAM classes, and once every day, there is a lunch and recess duty for the 5th grade.
Mhm.
So how long does that take? That lunch and recess, so it's like 45 minutes or half an hour?
It's 50, I think it's approximately 50 when you add the 2 up together. I can pull up her schedule right now to give you more specific.
45 minutes.
45.
So that's 45 minutes every day, 45 minutes. And those STEAM classes, how long do they take? So every other day you have the STEAM classes?
STEAM classes are 40 minutes per, but because she does a 5, 6, and a 7, 8, that's 2 40 minutes.
So that's 2 40 minutes, so 40 plus 40.
Elena, are you trying to get at the amount of time that she
Every
has
day.
that's not currently assigned or not with students? Can you ask the question
Yes, I
more
want to
generically
understand.
on the other side in a
Yes.
way that's less detailed but more illustrative of what you're looking for?
Okay, yes, what I'm looking for how close this position is involved with touching children every day on everyday basis.
Mhm.
That's what I'm trying to understand. I want everybody to understand, because we don't know this position. It's not because I'm trying to dig in negatively, I
Right,
just want to
right.
understand closeness to children every day. So that 40 plus 40, that's only every other day, let's say, like 3 times a week.
Is this accurate to the screen report? Where you see the bottom?
No, it's changed a little bit, so. The days have changed, but there's still 7 sections. There's 7 sections of STEAM, yeah.
Okay, so she's teaching a STEAM every day in this current schedule for this new quarter. She teaches 80 minutes of STEAM on Monday, 80 minutes of STEAM on Tuesday, 40 minutes of STEAM on Wednesday, 40 minutes of STEAM on Thursday, and 80 minutes of STEAM on Friday.
Mhm. And on top of that, 45 minutes covering lunch and recess.
On top of that,
On
yes.
top of
And then
that.
she also hosts WIN groups, or What I Need block. We have a lot of adults involved in that, and students can go up to the library. Again, that's tied into our ELA curriculum.
And that's every day?
Yes. She also does book hooks for students, where teachers bring their classes up to the library, and she hooks certain books with the students and gets them interested in those books.
It's everyday activity too.
That's on a sign-up basis, correct me if I'm wrong, Kate, I just don't understand.
I'm supposed to talk or not talk, whatever.
It's okay, we're
It
answering
just all weird to
questions.
me.
Yes,
Here, so I just
yes,
don't want to
We're
misspeak.
looking for more information so that we can make informed decisions, so we're
Okay.
asking questions of Ken,
So
if
is-
he asks you.
Okay. So as far as the book hooks go, grades 6, 7, and 8 come up every 2 weeks. They come with their language arts class. They're there for the entire class period. I will read an excerpt from a book, talk about the book, get them hooked on it. There's a waiting list for them, they can sign up for it, and then they're there to do book checkout and reading. So like today, grade 6 was in, so all 3 language arts classes came up. I book hooked with them, helped them select books for their independent reading and for their course of study that they're doing in language arts. So they're in, every grade is in every 2 weeks, and then I have 5th grade, each class once a week for library, and they're working on all different library and technology skills and reading skills and that kind of thing. And then the WIN groups, I have grades 7 and 8 WIN is in there Wednesdays and Fridays to read and get books, and then on Mondays, I have a group of 5th graders that are coming in, and they're actually working on projects now where they are creating commercials that I'm sending over to Amy at Center School to get those kids hooked on books either that they have in their collection or to hook them on things that we have in our collection, so when they come up as 5th graders, they kind of have an idea of what we have in our collection there. So, I mean, there's other things too, but that's kind of the gist.
So when you say every 2 weeks, that means it's once every 2 weeks, each grade comes to you.
Yes.
So once every 2 weeks,
Except the 5th graders that come
Every
every week. and-
once every.
Okay.
Yeah, like every Monday I have Gary's class, every Tuesday is Gilbert, that kind of thing.
Right, but, and those are for, they're not every 6th grader. I mean, they're not every 5th grader at the same time. for
No,
fifth
it's
graders.
by
It's
class.
5th graders, it's by
Right.
class.
So it happens 3 times.
Thank you, that helps.
And the 3 core blocks.
So as I understand, total, if I understood it right, so totally you spend with kids, that your position, yeah, spends with kids like 2.5, maximum 3 hours every day, average.
In structured classes, yes.
Yeah, unless I understand the library is open,
Right.
so, but otherwise it's 3 hours maximum, one-on-one touching kids during the day. Okay, I have my answer, thank you.
Yeah, morning news is before school. It's not, yeah.
But still connects with students, so it's not part of
The morning news, yeah.
the, on the clock in the same way, but it still involves one-on-one with students. Okay. Other questions on this?
Okay, I'm gonna keep moving. I emailed you and I wanted to go through this real quick with you because I did not put this out on the website, but I wanted to make sure you all saw what I emailed you. You had asked about what the grand list looks like. The grand list at this point we know is up $2,698,000.
It's a
That was-
0.61% increase
There's your answer.
over last year, 0.61% over the 2017 grand list.
So Herb, I think you were the one particularly asking about that.
And that's, Bill, can I say,
Yes.
that's the number as of right now. That could change after BAA meets, the Board of Assessment Appeals, and those meetings are towards the end of March. So that's what it looks like now, but there could be some slight adjustments, and that would change the number.
What did you say the dollar figure was?
As of when I got this email, was $2,698,139.
But just to clarify, there are a number of houses that had crumbling foundations that had already applied and been taken
So,
into account when
correct.
this number was calculated.
There were 13 total adjustments due to crumbling foundations. 12 of those were new. I apologize, I don't have the numbers, it's either 13 or 14. There was one new, one addition from the 16 grand list that now has more severe damage, so an additional
Right.
adjustment was made. So I
So,
believe it's 13 and then the 14.
so this accounts.
That accounts for those
Got it.
adjustments, but there could be adjustments with Board of Assessment appeals on top of these numbers. But the grand list that was signed last week by our assessor is with that figure, a 0.61% increase.
Thank you.
You asked me two questions about supplies and professional development, and so that second question, what do districts under 500 students spend on supplies? I talked to some superintendents, it's very hard to pinpoint because of how they do their budgets, it's all over the place. This actually came off, the state website was the cleanest version. It did not define an ed site how they identify instructional supplies and equipment, so I don't know what this number's made up of, to be honest with you, and I shared that, but it gave you a sense. You know, Wellington was 338, and I added in a couple that were over 500 students, but in our DERG because we're compared to them. I thought that was important. It looks like, to me, it's within reason, we're within reason of what other people are spending. But again, for me, this wasn't, it was data, but it wasn't data I could really.
But the number that's on here with Wellington at 338 is what we spent last year that was in the system. This is not the proposed number with
Correct.
the cuts.
Correct.
This is if
And
if our program remained flat and we did not cut supplies, this is the number we would be at.
You are correct.
Okay.
So you sent us an email with it?
That's information from the email you sent us,
Yes.
because we
Yes.
don't have it.
Yes, it was in your email, yeah,
When did you send- I haven't-
Just yesterday.
last week.
No, like I received it yesterday.
I haven't
This?
received it at all.
Yeah,
Tuesday, February 5th at 8:42.
yesterday.
Oh, no, sorry, even before that,
Nope.
8:24. Nope, Friday at 3:50. It's a whole string of
week.
emails. So,
Brenda probably
there
sent
were
out the
various
agenda separate,
supplies,
but I
right?
sent a specific email just to the board with
Right,
this
so
information.
this was Friday afternoon at
Okay, unless
3:50.
I'm freaking out.
If you need to see it on bigger format for people who do not have eyes,
3:50
I'm
p.m.
happy
on
to
Friday, February
pass the
1st.
iPad around if you want to see it in bigger.
I just have to find the email.
Okay.
Possibilities, because I sometimes try to see it.
I found it interesting because, I mean, when you're looking at this, they're showing the Ashford's number was $875 per
Yesterday.
pupil.
At 8:24 a.m.
You know, is that because they've lumped this with equipment and they purchased some equipment this year? That's, I didn't like the way it was presented, I'll be honest with you, but you had asked me for the data, and that's the best data that I could find.
It helped, I think, so basically, if you don't have the numbers right in front of you, for those of you who are listening to the tape on the internet later, or for those of you on the video, the amounts range dramatically. There are two of them that are between 100 and 200, and two of them between 200 and 300. Ours is fifth lowest at 338, and then there's another 5 or so that are more, and in some cases, almost triple what we have. So the variety is dramatic. We are in the bottom, about at the bottom third.
Well, notable, Ashford's 875 a student, so.
Right. But because we
is
don't
that-
know whether or not that includes
Well,
equipment that was
well, I was
particular
wondering,
in one year or another
equipment
year.
meaning like a tablet or
It-
something like that?
I will be honest with you, I
You
don't
don't
know
know?
how EdSite calculates this,
Yeah.
and
You know,
EdSite is our.
I tried to, because my school is 520 students, I tried to get it from my principal. She said, basically, it's not gonna be helpful because it's all over the place.
That's
Yeah.
That's
what
what
the
she
sense
said,
was.
you're not, it's gonna
Yeah.
take you forever to figure it out. She said it's hard for me
What
to.
their formula.
Right. So I guess it's common.
I think the one thing we can draw from this is that we are not spending excessive amounts of money on supplies currently. I think that's fair, even if it doesn't say a
Yeah,
lot
and
more
I-
than that.
You're not spending $338 per student on supplies like that.
No. But supplies and equipment in one year compared to other people
Correct.
gives us
So
some
you asked for it, that
comparison
was the
data that's
best
useful,
data that I could.
that it's
share with
useful to
you.
the extent that we can see that. Okay.
The next question that was on there, how much money has been returned to the BOE? Oh, sorry, the PD question. was, again, same thing all over the place, and so I
Okay.
laughed at it.
Mhm.
And honestly, some of that depends on if someone has a contract with like Readers and Writers Workshop, where they bring someone in for a day for $10,000, they're really high that year,
Right.
their amount of money, so it just depends on what you're doing. How much money has been returned by the BOE in the last 10 years? Do you want me to read these numbers? I don't know if you have these in front of you. 2009 was 338,000. 2010 was 124,000. 2011 was 212,000. 2012 was 174,000. 2013, 62,000. 2014, 88,000. 2015, 172,000. 2016, 28,000. 2017, 118,000. 2018, 66,000. Over the last 10 years, we've returned almost $1.4 million. It's $1,388,048. Pretty significant. And remember that we'd asked, one of those years, we've asked for a couple years for money to go into the 1% account. I think it's happened once. It was denied this year on $66,000. I talked to a superintendent who's in Pomfret yesterday. His is maxed out in his district to $200,000. So there are districts that are putting money in. The other thing I asked in the small superintendent's meeting that I was at yesterday, that's connected here to the budget, was how many of them are applying all of their grant money, which we have applied in our budget, all of their grant money, and they said absolutely not. So we have almost every single dollar of our grant money applied to offset our budget.
How much did you say was in the 1% account?
Right now, Don, I think there's about 40,000.
Yes.
I believe